Hi, this is Carla, and today I'm going to show you a project called Picasso Dogs. Picasso was an artist who was working in the early 20th century, or actually the whole 20th century pretty much, and he, along with another artist named Georges Braque, developed Cubism. And Cubism is a type of approach where you are trying to show the figure from all different directions. So we're going to do that with a dog today. But first I want to show you the supplies you'll need. You'll need a piece of watercolor paper or some stiff paper about 5 by 7 inches. A piece of construction paper, black is a great color. You'll also need a pencil and a black marker. This happens to be a Crayola marker. A paintbrush, and it's nice to get one that goes to somewhat of a point. A glue stick, and paint. These are tempera paints. You need blue, yellow, and red. Okay. So let me show you what I mean by Cubism. Here is a book by Picasso, and here is a portrait he did where it's actually kind of strange the way she looks. She is looking off this way, but then her nose is sort of facing this way, and their mouth is facing that way, and there's all kinds of strange lines going on through here. And the idea that Braque and Picasso had about Cubism is that they were trying to show something from multiple perspectives, from the back, from the front, from the side, really trying to get the whole person in this case, or the whole instrument or animal, instead of just this straight on view. So that's their idea anyway. So it makes for some fun animals, and we're just going to get started. So I'm going to show you all the steps now, and when I'm done you'll get your paper out and you'll do the same thing. So what you need just to start is your pencil and your 5 by 7 piece of stiff paper. And the first thing to do is to draw an eye anywhere on the page. And then you're going to turn your paper 90 degrees clockwise, and you're going to draw a second eye 3 times bigger than the eye that you just drew, anywhere on the page. It doesn't matter if it looks funny. Turn your paper 90 degrees clockwise, and now you're going to draw a nose or a snout of a dog. Again, they don't have to connect, although if you want to, you can start connecting them. Turn your page 90 degrees clockwise again and do an ear. Turn your paper again and do a tongue. And turn your paper one more time and do a paw or a foot. Okay, so now you have these weird things, and your job is to connect it together any way that you can to make it look like a dog. Now, it doesn't have to look like a real dog, it just needs to be dog-like. So I'm just going to turn my paper around and around and see if there's an orientation that I like better that gives me a good idea. That one's kind of cute. So at this point I can add as many lines as I need to make my dog. So I'm going to kind of continue his nose here. I'm going to pretend that his tongue and this are his ears. And I'm going to draw a tail. Again, you can do whatever you want to make it work. And then I'm going to draw some paws here. So the thing that we drew in our steps don't have to stay the same thing. So for example, a tongue doesn't have to stay as a tongue. An ear doesn't have to stay an ear. It can change however you need to do it to make it work. So this is my dog that I've come up with. And this what's great about this project is it's a dog that I would never have thought to draw on my own, and I think it's pretty cute. So, so those are the steps. And once you have your dog drawn, we're going to paint. And I had you get the primary colors. The primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And with those colors, you can mix almost any color that you want to use. But for this project, we're going to mix the secondary colors. The secondary colors are the colors that happen when you mix these colors together. So when you mix red and yellow, you'll get orange. When you mix yellow and blue, you'll get green. And when you mix red and blue, you'll get purple. So we're going to do a painting just with the secondary colors, using the primary colors as our starting point. So I've just put out some color, and what I'm going to do is just wet my brush just a little bit. Now I'm using tempera paints, but acrylic paints would work great for this exercise, or even watercolors too. Okay. And I'm wiping off most of the water because I want the paint to be kind of thick. And I'm going to, oh, I forgot one thing. Now, if I had you paint just like this, there wouldn't be a lot of places to put the three colors, because remember, we're doing orange, purple, and green. So what you need to do at the very end, before you start painting, is to connect some lines here, kind of mimicking what Picasso might have done with some of his portraits. So that's what I did. Okay, so now I'm going to start with orange. And I found that if you mix the same amount of red with the same amount of yellow, you'll get basically red. So you just have to add just a little bit of red to get orange to a lot of yellow. Mix it really nice and good. And now I'm going to just pick some areas to paint. I don't have to stay in the lines too much because at the very end I will go over this with black marker to outline it. Okay. And now I want another place for orange. So this is giving you some color mixing practice. Okay, so next I'm going to mix a green, and to do that you need yellow and blue. And the same thing happens when you mix yellow and blue together. If you use half yellow and half blue, you'll end up with just basically blue. So you have to start with a lot of yellow and then add just a tiny bit of blue. So mix up a color that you like and mix up enough paint that you can have enough paint to paint your picture with. Okay. And now I'm going to paint the tail. Just pause. His ear. And I'm even going to paint the rest of his body here too with the green. And the last color, so the last color is purple, and we're going to use that for the background of this dog. And once again, we're going to get some blue, get some red. And in this case, since the blue is darker than the red, it takes a little bit more red to get it into purple. So more red and less purple. Less blue. And I need to mix up a lot of paint for this one because we're doing all this background. Start there. Now I like to use a larger brush because even though it's not as precise or perfect, it works faster, and it's amazing how fun it is to work fast and not worry about how things look. And the big brush can make you make brush strokes that are very bold and painterly. And so that's what we're going for here. If you have a little brush, it might take way too long to do this whole thing. So I'm running out of wet paint. Okay, almost done. Okay, so there's my dog. I'm going to wait for this to dry before we do the next step. So I've let this dry for about 15 minutes, and now it's time to put our paint away. So I'm going to put it aside, and just so you can see it a little nicer, I'm going to put it on this black paper and get out our black marker, and now you're going to outline the pencil lines, or basically go over the lines that you had made in pencil. And again, these don't have to be perfect. They can be kind of hairy lines. And I'm just outlining the whole thing. Almost done. And there you have it, a Picasso dog that kind of looks like a bird. Oh, I can put a nose on it. Maybe it'll look more like a dog. Okay, so there's the dog. Almost done. All you have to do now is glue it onto your black paper. So you'll need your glue stick. And you want to get it right on the edges, especially those corners. And then a little bit on the inside. And you're going to take your paper and make it as centered as you can, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so I have it on there, but if I leave it like this, it'll curl, so I'm going to put it face down on my paper, make sure that the paper is dry, and I'm going to stick a book on top there and leave that there for about 5 minutes for it to dry. And while it's doing that, I'm going to show you just a couple of other dogs that I worked on. Here's one that is a little different. Doesn't even look like a dog. It doesn't have to. They're supposed to be kind of silly. And then here's one that I liked too, that it actually does look more like a dog. So that's the Picasso Dog Project. Have fun, and I can't wait to see what you post online. Thanks.